We welcome President Trump's willingness to contribute to Article 5-like security guarantees for Ukraine. And the coalition of the willing, including the European Union, is ready to do its share. We know that the work of defending Europe is first and foremost our responsibility. And we've been working hard to speed up and scale up as we increase Europe's defense capability. Through the SAFE instrument, we are ensuring that the defense needs of member states and Ukraine can be matched, and that Ukraine's industrial defense base is strengthened. I am thinking in particular of drones here. This is in our mutual interest, and I intend to travel to the frontline member states in the coming weeks. At the same time, we continue to support Ukraine's path to its membership in the European Union. This in itself is also a security guarantee. My second point, with regards to any territorial questions in Ukraine, our position is clear. International borders cannot be changed by force. These are decisions to be made by Ukraine and Ukraine alone. And these decisions cannot be taken without Ukraine at the table. My third and final point, as long as the bloodshed in Ukraine continues, Europe will maintain diplomatic and in particular economic pressure on Russia. We will continue to strengthen sanctions. We have adopted 18 packages so far, and we are advancing preparation for the 19th. This package will be forthcoming in early September. We know that sanctions are effective. We have already put Russia's immobilized assets to work for the benefit of Ukraine, and we will continue to put pressure on Russia's war economy to bring President Putin to the negotiation table. We're working with you, Volodymyr, and President Trump in this sense. And we will discuss all these topics and others in our joint meeting at the White House tomorrow. These are challenging times. Only Ukraine can choose its own destiny, but Ukraine can always count on Europe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dear Ursula, thank you for your support. Thank you for this day. It's very important for all your support from the very beginning of this war. And it's very important that you are with us and that we speak to America and we speak together. And it's important that Washington is with us. And today, in several forums, we are deciding what we are going to discuss in Washington. Dear journalists, it's crucial that Europe is as united now as it was at the very beginning, as it was in 2022, when the full-scale war began. This unity really helps to reach real peace, and it must stay strong. First, we have to stop the killings. Putin has many demands, but we do not know all of them. And if there are really as many as we heard, then it will take time to go through them all. It's impossible to do this under the pressure of weapons. So it's necessary to cease fire and work quickly on a final deal. We'll talk about it in Washington. Putin does not want to stop the killing, but he must do it. Second, we need real negotiations, which means they can start where the front line is now. The contact line is the best line for talking, and Europeans support this. And we thank everyone. Russia is still unsuccessful in Donetsk region. Putin has been unable to take it for 12 years. And the constitution of Ukraine makes it impossible to give up territory or trade land. Since the territorial issue is so important, it should be discussed only by the leaders of Ukraine and Russia at the Tri-Lateral, Ukraine, United States, Russia. So far, Russia gives no sign that Tri-Lateral will happen, and if Russia refuses, then new sanctions must follow. this sword, it's important that America agrees to work with Europe to provide security guarantees for Ukraine, and we are very thankful to the United States and to the President for such signal, and therefore for everyone in Europe. This is a significant change, but there are no details how it will work and what America's role will be, what Europe's role will be, what the EU can do. And this is our main task. We need security to work in practice, like Article 5 of NATO, and we consider EU accession to be part of security guarantees. And we have heard from President Trump that America and Putin see it the same way. So we talked about the EU accession negotiations. There can be no division between Ukraine and Moldova. That would simply be a very bad move to my mind, and if such a division takes place, it will automatically mean that Europe is divided on Ukraine, that Europe does not have a common and strong position on guarantees. Many in Europe see that vision will only make things worse. And we talked about defense, and thank you very much, dear Ursula. We agreed to work more actively on programs such as SAFE, and I count on the support with drones. First of all, this is priority. Next, thank you for the 18th package of sanctions. It's important. We need to prepare the 19th package so that Russia sees that we are serious. We understand Russia's strategic direction. It's anti-European, and so we must continue to limit Russia's potential. Finally, we talked about the support of Ukrainian children in schools, and we have a school meal program, and it's an important program that ensures that children from every family in wartime at least receive security and receive a normal hot meal. The school year is coming soon, and I asked Ursula to help us improve this program. It's our children, it's our future, everything for them. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much to both presidents. We can now take a couple of questions. Okay. Katarina, the first question.
Thank you. Katarina Redan for the German press agency.
You have microphones in front of you. If you can take one, that would be fantastic. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Okay, better? So Katarina Redan for the German press agency. A question to both presidents. Do you agree with President Trump that there's no need for a ceasefire and that peace negotiations should begin immediately?
Yeah, you want?
So, I think not the term is so important. Important is, and it matters, what's the effect. And the effect must be stop the killing. That's the most important part. Whether we call it a ceasefire or it's a peace deal, stop the killing. Point number one. Therefore, it is so important to have as soon as possible a trilateral meeting between the President of Ukraine, the President of the United States, and of Russia. I think very important is that there are clear timelines to be kept. So it's not the term itself, it's the content that matters.
Thanks so much. I totally agree with Ursula, and you know that from the very beginning, I think it was March when the President of the United States, he proposed ceasefire, like a first element, stopping killing, and we agreed it and we supported him, and I think it was very strong idea, pushing Russia to real negotiations. And now we hear another signals. I think that we have to share all this with details and what Ursula said about and what we talked bilaterally and what we will talk now with all our coalition civilians, with all the Europeans. And we have to share all our thoughts with President Trump. We need the United States on our side. And I think that President Trump shared that we would need peace, but steps to this peace. We need, correct steps to have lasting peace. To stop Putin, it means not to make a pause in this war. Stop and have a lasting peace. Yeah, for all of us. Thank you.
Thanks. second and last question to Elena.
Thank you. I will start in Ukrainian if possible. Олена Абрамович, Радіо Свобода, українська служба. Пане президенте, Путін сказав, що розуміє, що Україні потрібні гарантії безпеки. У вас вже була розмова з президентом Трампом. Скажіть, чи озвучив він бачення Росії щодо гарантій безпеки для України, які прийнятні для Росії, так? І які гарантії безпеки, власне, прийнятні для України? Чи досі ми говоримо про troops on the ground, тобто війська певні, чи це ця 5 стаття, якщо можете пояснити ваше бачення, як це може виглядати? І коротке просто, як у вас настрій, чи нема перестроги, що в Білому домі може все піти так само, як було 28 лютого? Дякую. I'm sorry, if I may also to the Madam President, another question.
I think we're good with one because we have a call soon.
Very quickly. Дякую. Can I answer Ukrainian? Yep. Дякую. Дякую за запитання. Передусім, я не знаю, про що реально говорили Путін і президент Трамп. І я хочу, щоб багато деталей президент Трамп сказав мені, потім європейським лідерам. І те, що президент Трамп сказав сигнал про гарантії безпеки, для мене це набагато важливіше, ніж думки Путіна, тому що Путін нам не дасть ніяких гарантій.
So this is live in Brussels, and what you see there is the EU President Ursula von der Leyen and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and von der Leyen says we will support Ukraine for as long as it takes for a just and lasting peace. She also says there can be no limitations on Ukraine and armed forces. The EU president also says that a three-way meeting between President Trump, President Putin and President Zelensky is the better option for now. The Ukrainian president is in Brussels to hold a meeting with EU leaders, including Ursula von der Leyen and NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, ahead of his scheduled meeting in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. And he will be accompanied by some of these EU leaders, including von der Leyen herself, to the White House to discuss a peace agreement in Ukraine with the President of the United States, Donald Trump. This is what Zelensky says. Washington is with us. We are deciding what we are going to discuss in Washington. Europe is united as it is. It must stay strong. We must have stop killing, or we must stop the killing. Putin has many demands, but we don't know all of the details. Zelensky also says it's important that we speak to America and we speak together. He says it is not possible to do under pressure of weapons, or it is not possible to have peace under pressure of weapons. This unity helps to reach a real peace in the end. Putin has a lot of demands, like I said. Ceasefire is necessary to work on final deal. We need real negotiations. This is according to the Ukrainian president. He also says, or Ursula von der Leyen actually was asked what the EU's position is when Donald Trump says that a ceasefire is not needed, but peace agreement is needed. She said these are just terminologies. One way or the other, the killing must stop. So once again, this is a meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who's meeting EU leaders ahead of his planned visit to Washington, D.C. on Monday to meet with President Donald Trump. And he will be accompanied by some of these EU leaders, including the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte and the EU President Ursula von der Leyen herself. And Ursula von der Leyen, it's interesting to note that she is actually vying for this three-way meeting between President Trump, Putin, and Zelensky. She says that this is the only way that the three men can discuss and come up with a concrete peace plan for Ukraine. And once again, Ursula von der Leyen says Ukraine must be able to keep territorial integrity. Well, a highly anticipated and high-stakes meeting is set for Monday. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will meet President Donald Trump at the White House, a meeting that could shape the next phase of the war in Ukraine. And this is far from a mere diplomatic check-in. It comes on the heels of Trump's summit with Putin in Alaska. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, French President Emmanuel Macron, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, and other senior European figures will also join Zelensky on his trip to Washington, a show of united Western backing as he sits down with Trump. In preparation, Zelensky will hold a video call with European leaders today. This is no ordinary diplomatic encounter. The last time Trump and Zelensky met, back in February, the talks ended in a clash inside the Oval. Voices were raised, tensions ran high, and there was little to show for it. In the meeting with Trump, the two leaders are expected to discuss security guarantees for Ukraine, the possibility of territorial compromises, and a roadmap for 4 more three-way peace talks. The world will watch for every detail. Will Vice President J.D. Vance once again take an aggressive line with Zelensky, as it did last time? Will Zelensky arrive in his military fatigue, his symbol of wartime resolve, or switch to a suit, signaling a more formal diplomatic approach alongside Europe's top leaders? And will his tone and body language differ, more measured, more strategic than during that confrontation in February? And even before this high-stakes meeting has taken place or takes place, President Trump has already announced a Tri-Lateral summit with Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin on August 22nd. He is a man in a hurry, determined to strike a quick deal. The road is anything but straight. Russia is pushing to keep control of Donetsk and Luhansk. These regions make up the industrial and strategic heart of eastern Ukraine. Donetsk, with its coal mining and infrastructure, is a natural resource powerhouse. Letting Russia backfill these areas would not only deal a blow to Ukraine's economic foundation, it would also give Moscow a long-sought geostrategic advantage. Kyiv and its European allies insist any deal must include security guarantees for Ukraine and full participation of its leadership. So on Monday, inside the White House, the question is not just whether Zelensky and Trump can move beyond past clashes, but whether they can take the first real steps towards ending the war.